Good day to everyone. Welcome back. As usual, like, subscribe, and share my videos. So, I've been talking to people as usual. People come and talk to me actually. And, I am willing to have conversations with people because one of the great leaders in Montserrat, I realized that he had a special skill. He was a man who used to just pull up and talk to people. And I believe personally that is the reason why this man was so successful because when you actually talk to people, I'm talking about what people would refer to as ordinary people, you might be surprised the ideas that people give to you. And sometimes all you basically have to do is just tweak the conversation and use that to make the place a better place. Because when you sit down in your office, you're not going to hear about certain things and people are not going to give you certain ideas. The man on the street has many ideas, and I've heard the man in the rum shop even have more ideas. So sometimes you have to really go out there and socialize with the people and talk to them, give them ideas, and they give you ideas. I personally feel that the ministers should be using their entertainment allowance to actually go out there in communities, go to bars, go to places in the community, talk to people, and I'm sure that they will get plenty ideas that will help the country. Because for you to just stay in your office, you're not going to be really thinking about certain things that other people are thinking about things that you're not thinking. So I was talking to a young lady over the weekend, and I keep telling people that young people are very ambitious, and young people are not just into recreational stuff and entertainment. They would love to have these things also, but young people are more focused now on building wealth. Actually, they are more focused on building wealth than when I was their age. And if I was thinking that way back in the day, trust me, I would have been way better off now because imagine you're talking to a young lady and she's saying to you that she's trying to get a piece of land and she wants to build a house with two apartments below. So she could rent two apartments and still live upstairs. And the money from the rent would more than cover her mortgage. But she's having issues getting a piece of land. And she gave me a story, and the story was basically saying that she went to the bank, and when she went to the bank showed interest in lending her the money. However, the deposit that she really wanted, she didn't have it because it appears that by the time you add up all the different fees, you would need at least $15,000 to $20,000 to really buy a piece of land, which is of a certain size. So she didn't have the money, but she also told me that all of a sudden, a certain man who has a lot of money decided that they want to purchase the land. And, I don't even know if in case I should say more because it was actually very sad to know that a rich person would try to block a young person trying to get a piece of land when they have so much land in their possession. And, so I asked her, how do you feel about Montserrat? And she told me, slow, boring, hand to mouth. She said that she's unwilling to work extra because of high taxes. She said, based on her experience, you can't really progress because the rich person try to block you. And when you try to start a business, somebody who is in business, they see that you're actually getting somewhere. They have more money than you, so they actually, use their money to get you out of business. And she spoke about healthcare because, sometimes you have to fly overseas just to do healthcare. And she also spoke about social security. So understanding all what she's saying, slow, boring, and so forth, let's kind of break down slow and boring and so forth. Let's get into it. So Montserrat is slow. Montserrat is slow for many reasons. The population is decreasing. because once the population decrease, then the country gets more slow. Then the government is not concentrating on the private sector development. And because the government is not really concentrating too much on private sector development and giving private sector all the opportunities available, because the private sector people are saying to me what they really want is duty-free exemptions to buy equipment, buy refrigerators and so forth, so that they could actually, you know, get the business to a certain standard. If their business is up to a certain standard, they will be able to hire more people. And if in case the private sector cannot develop in a country, the private sector is the engine to any economy, then when young people leave from school, then they don't have much opportunities, because it is said that you go to school, when you leave school, you find a job in government, you buy a car, you buy a house, and you live happily ever after. But young people have been watching Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and they realize that is pure nonsense. And you need to also check out the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. These are two books that I love and I have above me. People know that going to school, then going to work for government, and buying a car and owning a house is just a waste of life. And we're not going to continue that kind of cycle. People are smarter these days. So you can't tell young people this nonsense, because young people know that doesn't make sense. So they're not interested. So young people want opportunities, but the government need to develop the private sector, because remember, somebody who started to work in government at the age of 18 years, 20 years, and what their retirement age is, what, 65? So if in case somebody stays in government for that period of time, people that leave school, they will not have any opportunities to work in government. So that's a big problem. So the economy is slow because what, the private sector is not being developed, and young people are not being taught how to run business, how to start business. So I decided that one of the things that I want to do is actually teach young people how to start business, how to start business without any money. Because you don't have to have money to start business. Yes, months of the economy is small, but there are ways that you could start business without even having any money. So I will take time to teach people how to start business without money. Boring, the place is boring because people do not have money. And if you don't have money, then you can't really spend. You can't really go out and enjoy yourself as much, because you have loans to pay. Most people in Montserrat, I mean, everybody in Montserrat basically need transport. Montserrat might be small, but you need transport to get from point A to point B. And if in case you get a loan and you pay at least $500, and I understand a lot of people in Montserrat are making between $1,800 and $2,500 a month. And by the time you buy food and so forth, you have no money left back to have real entertainment. So basically, people are living, as she said, hand to mouth. People are living from hand to mouth. You get the money, before you get the money, the loans already come out of it. And the liquor that you're left back with is nothing much. And that can't do anything for you. Then she said, unwilling to work because of taxes. And this is another thing. If you go and work extra, then you're going to have to pay 30% tax. And by the time you have to pay 30% tax out of the money, it doesn't make sense for you to actually even go to do extra work, because it's only a certain amount of hours a person can actually work. You got to work for 8 hours. How much more hours left back for you to even do extra work? So at the end of the day, let's be realistic. Working after, even in case you go to work for government, after work, what you're going to do? And that is the reason why we have to find ways how to develop the private sector. And some people need to stop blocking young people, because at the end of the day, it's not good to be blocking a young person. You should want the young person to be able to have certain things. I have a problem with people that are rich and want to block people, because at the end of the day, if in case you're rich, give thanks that you're rich, but at the end of the day, you can't be blocking young people from getting things like land. If you know that a young person is trying to get a piece of land, why would you go and offer more money for the piece of land to block the young person? And this is where Montserrat is suffering from people who are just wicked. Because I would never block a young person. I would try to help the young person to get certain things. Instead of the rich man blocking the young people, the rich man's supposed to try to work with the young people because they have strength. So she said, can't progress because you get blocked by the rich. We just touched that already. She said, when you start a new business, another businessman does the same thing and try to kill your business. That has been happening for a while, but there's a way around it. When you start a business, you can't give up on the business. You have to actually continue. You have to be persistent. Bear in mind that everybody have their own people. So no matter how the businessman try to cut your business, you have your own people. You have technology, so you can use the technology to push your product. If in case you allow as a business person who have money to frustrate you, then they will win. But if in case you don't allow them to frustrate you, eventually they will stop because it won't be worth it for them because they have other things they have to deal with. So the answer to that basically is just be persistent, don't stop, keep pushing. When she spoke about healthcare, well, I know that the new hospital is building, and let me just say straight up, I hope that there are plans in place for people to apply for scholarships so that they could actually use the equipment that they're going to be using at the new hospital. And I'm hoping that they're going to train or have workshops for people to learn how to maintain the hospital so we don't have to bring people in. So we use our local people. So I understand they're going to have some scholarship for sciences and so forth, but I'm not sure how that will work out. But I'm hoping that the government would actually think about pushing the young people, pushing people to get jobs. Let them learn how to use the new equipment that you have, that we don't have to bring people in to use them. I'm thinking in the line of medical tourism, just like how people leave to go to Antigua for medicals. It's a part of tourism. So we need to start to develop a plan to have medical tourism that people actually come to Montserrat and do their medicals so that we in the private sector could actually get places rented out at the same time, just like how we've been going to Antigua and Barbados and England and so forth. We need to develop a plan for medical tourism in Montserrat, just like how we need to have a plan for sports tourism. Not tourism is not only just the yachts and the cruise ships coming in. There are different types of tourism. And then she spoke about social security. I don't know if I want to talk about social security, but I think I will. Social security is a big subject among a lot of people, and we are on social security is increasing every year. Let me put it this way: a lot of people are not interested to pay social security, and I personally think that people should have the option whether they want to pay social security or not. On YouTube the other day they were saying that social security is becoming a Ponzi scheme, and social security will only last no more than the next 10 years. So when you really think about paying money and then social security, as they're saying, will not last, makes you wonder why you're even paying social security. I'm not trying to knock on social security, but I'm here to talk straight and based upon what people are saying. Most people are saying they do not want to pay social security. They're already paying taxes, they don't want to pay social security. So that was just a little roundup time gone already from a conversation that I had. And, I just went through the conversation, went through the list of topics that the young lady basically spoke about. But young people are very ambitious, and I'm extremely proud of the young people. They're not thinking about liabilities, they're thinking about assets and self development. And if they continue that way, then Montserrat should be a better place, and we shall make Montserrat great again. Thank you. Have a good day.